This is an ad for BetterHelp. Welcome to the world. Please read your personal owner's manual thoroughly. In it, you'll find simple instructions for how to interact with your fellow human beings and how to find happiness and peace of mind. Thank you, and have a nice life.
Unfortunately, life doesn't come with an owner's manual. That's why there's BetterHelp Online Therapy. Connect with a credentialed therapist by phone, video, or online chat. Visit BetterHelp.com to learn more. That's BetterHelp.com.
Welcome back, everybody. At this recording, the aftermath of Hurricane Milton's trip across the Florida Peninsula is just starting to unfold. We have a story on the website with links on how to help. Now, it does me no good to read that here, but I'll leave a link to it in show notes, and it's at the top of the Down in Alabama newsletter for those who may get that. Today is October 10th, 2024. It's the anniversary of another hoss of a storm, Hurricane Michael, of 6 years ago. Born on this date in 1933, celebrity hairstylist and victim of the Manson family murders, Jay Sebring of Birmingham. Today, let's talk about the state's dental problems, West Nile virus, and a mummy. Stay with us now, because that ain't fake news. I'm Mike Morgan, and we're down in Alabama. As if we need another healthcare crisis in Alabama, dentists say they're having a tough time keeping their offices open, even with a low dentist to population ratio, reports AL.com Savannah Tryons-Fernandez. Alabama was second only to Arkansas, with only 41.6 dentists per 100,000 residents. The national average is 60 dentists per 100,000 people. Now, to make that math a little more relatable, that's more than 2,400 people per dentist in Alabama. And according to the Alabama Department of Public Health, in rural areas, it goes up to 3,845 people per dentist. And there are no dental providers in Greene and Clay counties. Some states have more than double what Alabama has in dentists per population. Now, why aren't there more dentist offices? Well, the problem on the business side, according to dentists that Savannah heard from, is trouble getting insurance reimbursements. Now, more than half of Alabama's children are on Medicaid. Florence pediatric dentist Carson Cruz said he's doing okay only because he sees a really high number of patients. But 2 other dental offices in town have stopped accepting Medicaid patients in the last year because it's too costly. Alabama, incidentally, is also the only state where Medicaid doesn't cover dental for adults. We'll shut the screen door and pass the skeeter spray. West Nile virus has been detected by the Mobile County Health Department, reports AL.com's John Sharp. Officials found the disease most recently in a specimen out of Grand Bay. This is not a human case. It did show up in 2 humans about a month ago. Typically, West Nile virus is transmitted from one bird to another by mosquitoes. The high-risk season runs from August until the first freeze. Now, you probably know the anti-skeeter tips already, but I'll run through a few of them. Use repellent with DEET. Have screens over any open windows or doors. Air conditioning is nice. I can do that one. Wear long sleeves and breeches if you can stand it. And for those of you who like to collect stacks of old tires in your yard, try to keep the rainwater out of them. North Alabamians could get to see the Aurora Borealis tonight, reports AL.com's Lita Gore. Now, that would be twice this year for the rare event of seeing the northern lights in the deep south. It's anything but guaranteed, however. A strong geomagnetic storm is sending a coronal mass ejection our way, but it wasn't expected to be quite as strong as the one in May. Broadcast Music Incorporated will recognize Fort Payne's Randy Owen as a BMI icon on November 19th, reports AL.com's Lawrence Specker. Owen, of course, is the lead singer for the band Alabama. The BMI Icon Award is no light accolade. It's gone to country artists such as Merle Haggard, Willie Nelson, Dolly Parton, Hank Williams Jr., Chris Christopherson, Loretta Lynn, and Toby Keith. Incidentally, 41 years ago today, Alabama won Entertainer of the Year and Vocal Group of the Year at the CMA Awards. And for you 80s country fans, Alabama has a few concert dates through the end of this year with openers such as Exile and the Bellamy Brothers. Hey, we have another Alabama history story, and you'll definitely want to hear it. Jonathan Sobolewski is going to tell us the weird story of the Alabama mummy. It is October, after all.
This is the story of a woman who got very famous around the world for being a corpse. Hazel Ferris was a Louisville, Kentucky woman who back in 1905 shot and killed her husband after they got into an argument about money. She then killed 3 cops and a sheriff's deputy who responded to the shooting. Now wanted for the murder of 5 people, Hazel Ferris fled to Bessemer, Alabama to start a new life with a new boyfriend. But in 1906, in a moment of honesty or drunken stupidity, she told her new boyfriend she was wanted for a bunch of murdering, and he dropped the dime to the police. To avoid facing any justice for her crimes, Hazel chose instead to take her own life by drinking a mixture of alcohol and arsenic. But she was famous for being dead, so that's just sort of where her story starts. After her death, her body was given to the local furniture store / funeral home, but nobody ever claimed the body. Now stuck with a corpse no one wanted that was remarkably well preserved due to the arsenic, the funeral homeowner decided to turn lemons into lemonade. He propped her body against the back wall of his shop and began charging 10 cents a head for people who wanted to come by and take a peek. And this started Hazel's career as a celebrity mummy. Over the next century, Hazel would be inherited or purchased by different people who put her on display, including a traveling showman who toured with the mummy through the US and Europe. But in 1974, a group of researchers with the Bessemer Hall of History started to wonder whatever happened to that old mummy the city used to have. So they tracked her down to a garage in Nashville, and the owner agreed to lend the body to be displayed in Bessemer off and on for the next 20 years. But as time passed and Hazel continued to be passed down to the next generations, eventually the family didn't really have any interest in dragging around a corpse for another 100 years. So finally in 2002, just shy of 100 years since Hazel Ferris took her own life to escape the law, the family that owned her had her cremated. To put that in perspective, Hazel was born before the invention of TV, but her body wasn't laid to rest until American Idol was on the air. The first season with Kelly Clarkson and Justin Guarini. So that's the story of the Alabama mummy.
Thanks, Sobo, and thanks everybody for listening to us. We're going to be back here again tomorrow. Until then, y'all come by and see what we're doing on the internet at al.com.